In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
It's time for Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues today, with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Ladies, Motherhood Talk Radio is here to give you a powerful platform by giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. Motherhood Talk Radio has interviews with best-selling authors, gurus of happiness, and women of interest who every single day make our world a better place for our families. Motherhood Talk Radio, powered by Motherhood Incorporated, is on the air now. Moms, this really is your show. Motherhood Talk Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and we are taking a break today from Miss Christy Holly because it's the first day of school out here in sunny, smoky Southern California. She is going to be picking up her kids from school. I, however, will not be doing that because, I don't know, I think, Doris, this year I'm vying for the worst mother ever.
No way. Come on. You're one of the best as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I did like a 30-day tour of duty this month with my kids, and so I'm going to actually meet them after the show for ice cream at McDonald's because that is the mothership for all, runaway errant children. But we have a great show today because we not only have Nicky VanValkenburgh coming on to talk about some alternatives for ADHD. We are going to welcome back Stupid Diet Guy for a cameo, but he's going to be Stupid ADHD Guy today. And we also are going to honor my mom at the end of the show who passed away. Those of you who have listened to me for the past couple of years have heard me talk about my mom's battle with breast cancer, and she did pass peacefully this week. So I'm very happy to report that she is no longer in pain, and I am, but I'm doing better. What do you say, Doris?
You're doing very well, Sandra. You're a strong woman, and this is something good for all the mothers to hear out there because we all have to go through these times. But if you can do it with grace, and Sandra, you're doing it with grace, that's a positive.
Thank you, Doris. That's really, that means a lot, because we all go through this at some point. We lose a parent. It's kind of the natural order of things, and most of the time. And, it's something that we've talked quite openly on both shows, actually, about this situation, because we all go through it, and there's no right or wrong way, but we just keep going. And as my mom said, Sam, life goes on. Just keep doing what you're doing. So for Mom, that's what I'm doing today. We also have coming up the anniversary of 9/11, and there's been a lot of information put out in the media, and I sadly have not watched any of it because I, my little internet geek, I don't turn on public television too much. But Doris, you have some great things for people to watch this week. Why don't you give us a rundown of what's going on?
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I tend to use the TV kind of like a white noise thing because I'm alone in my house. So I always have it going on various channels. And because 9/11 is the anniversary, 10th anniversary is coming up, there's tons of programs, new ones and past ones. And as much as I know people don't necessarily want to hear this stuff because there's so many things going on, with our everyday lives, I am purposefully going out of my way to watch as much as I can handle because it is tough, but I think that I owe it to the people who lost their lives that day, and I hope that there's a lot of other people out there that feel, the same way that I do. So anyway, here's a couple of programs that I highly recommend. And one of them is on Fox News, and they're showing it off and on the rest of this week and maybe even after September 11th. But it's on Fox News. It's a 2-hour program hosted by one of my favorite guys, Shepard Smith. And he's actually been working on this program, I think, ever since they broke ground for the new Freedom Rising Towers at the World Trade Center site. And it's interesting because it talks about the history of the World Trade Center and all the years that, that it was involved in the building. I mean, it's really historical. And so it's not all sad. It's very historical, and I like that because you get to hear how the Trade Center, went up, and now what's going on with the new buildings that are going up, which I think is really important. So anyway, when you watch this, you're going to be filled with pride because, again, you see the courage of the American spirit, coming forward. And then another one that's really interesting is on National Geographic Channel. And this one you're going to need your Kleenex for because this is the first formal interview that President George W. Bush has given since 9/11, and it's from his perspective of what he went through that day and the days, after. And it's really tough to hear. And one of the things that really got to me was because I was looking at his face, and if you look at his eyes, you can really see the pain that he still suffers from it. So that's why I say you better have your Kleenex because it's a tough watch. But again, I think everybody should check it out. And then finally, if anybody has access to the Internet, you should check out. It's called voicesofseptember11th.org, and it's a living 9/11 memorial historical record. And it's got over 1,100 families that have submitted their stories as a living memorial to commemorate the lives and preserve the stories of those who lost their lives that day. So anyway, that's my feeling on what's happening, on 9/11, and I hope that some of your viewers will, listen to, what's shown on TV.
Doris, it's so amazing. I feel like it's just been a blink of an eye since 9/11. Do you remember where you were?
I do. As a matter of fact, it's kind of an embarrassing story because unlike your listeners know everything about you, and they're just starting to hear about me because of your kindness of, helping you with the show and learning the ropes about what goes on a radio show. But I am a recovering alcoholic, but I'm going on 7 years sobriety, so it's been a while. But I was still drinking then when 9/11 happened, and I happened to be in bed suffering from a hangover. And my husband, who always got up early to get ready for work, came in to wake me up, and I'm like, leave me alone. And he says, no, you have to get up. Something horrible is happening. And that's how I got introduced to what happened that day.
See, and I was also in bed when things started, and what was funny, Doris, not funny, but what was interesting is that I was laying in bed, and I think I was reading or something. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was just one of those mornings, and my phone started ringing, like my office line, my cell phone, and my home phone, and it was like ring, 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 and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on?
Wow.
Like, this is crazy, and
wow.
I pick up the first friends from New York saying, are you watching this? Are you watching this? Oh, my God, and I'm thinking, what?
Wow.
I'm in my own little sand bubble.
Right.
I turned on the news, and then, and I saw it, and then, immediately I have lots of friends in New York. I have friends that were, at Ground Zero. I have friends that were in one of the World Trade Center buildings where everybody perished. Yes, I was working with a company that was, I don't remember what floor they were on, but
oh my gosh.
They are all gone. And, at first I thought it was a joke. I was looking at it going,
I agree.
And for anybody, that's been to New York or been, I'm a native New Yorker, but anybody that's been down there prior to it, you just, these buildings are so huge, and you just...
Yeah, I was at the Trade Center at the that famous restaurant. many years ago.
The Eyes on the World or whatever it is.
Yes.
And then I've been to Ground Zero twice now since it's happened, and it's just this thing of disbelief. And I remember my brother-in-law at the time worked for some company right across the street, and I remember thinking, my God, like, where is he? Is everybody okay? And my girlfriend Jazz lived literally right down the street, and all I could think of was, this cannot be happening. This cannot be real. And I was glued to the set, going. It was like a movie scene to me. It really took me quite a while, and I don't think it really even totally hit me till I went and visited Ground Zero. Like a year and a half later. That it was just crazy. And then I actually had to get on an airplane flight to London the next day. And it was very strange for me to go into the airport and see all the security. It was like, sometimes you're overseas and things happen. Yeah. I was in a bombing in France. There was a bomb that went off when I was in France, and, that was what it kind of reminded me of.
Right.
But it was, it was LAX, and I was like, this is really bizarre, and really, but it didn't hit me. It wasn't even real. Even when I went to Ground Zero the first time and I stood there looking into the pit and, looking at all the buildings and smelling the smells and just, feeling that just crazy energy, it still doesn't seem real. 10 years later, I know it's very real for many of our listeners. It's very real for everyone, but it's still, to me, it's a dream. It still has that feeling of disbelief, even though I've physically been there. It's an amazing thing, and to watch our country rally around each other, and to have so many of our service members, the police, the firemen, the volunteers, having health issues as a result of their service.
I know.
During that time, we want to honor this week not only our fallen friends that were in the building. We want to honor the service members that cared for the survivors. We want to honor the people that have been part of not only I don't even know what you call it, the cleanup, for lack of a better word. There's so many people involved. But so we want to put our honor out to our friends and families and to our support people. My name is Sandra Beck. I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with today's co-host, Doris Rivas-Brecky. We're going to come back with Nicky VanValkenburgh. She's the author of an ADHD book. We're also going to welcome Stupid Diet Guy on for a cameo. And I know it's hard to say that without laughing. And we'll catch you guys after the break.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. Get ready for the Not So Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central, on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not So Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered. In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not So Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central, on TogiNet.com.
In the healthcare industry today, most of us are left in the dark when our doctors talk to us about our health and wellness. It seems that they don't have enough time to be informative and give us the options we deserve. Are you frustrated with today's medical advice as I am?
Join the Medical Insider with Danny Walker and Dr. Richard Powell as they discuss the insider look at various therapies, medications, supplements, and much, much more. We will bring you the cutting-edge information regarding your healthcare and how you can take control of your healthcare decisions by not being fooled but being informed. Danny Walker and Dr. Richard Powell will be joined by experts in various fields throughout the healthcare industry, and they'll uncover the information that you should know about when it comes time to making those crucial decisions.
Don't be fooled. Be informed with the Medical Insider every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central.
Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and we are here today with, gosh, you have so many stupid monikers, Rick. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, which one do you like the most?
I think my personal favorite is Stupid Diet Guy.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because,
Of all the stupid things I do.
Of all the stupid things.
No, that's not helping my case at all.
No, from all those stupid things you do, Stupid Diet Guy remains my favorite because it came naturally or organically out of the show. And not only did that happen, but you totally, rose to the occasion and embraced the stupidity. And
when you say naturally organically, it's kind of a joke within itself. Nothing I ingest is organic.
No, but I just remember you talking about, the beer diet, or, I don't know, it's just that was one of my favorite episodes.
I guess that's good. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know whether to be flattered or...
Well, you wear many hats on the show, and, all carrying the moniker of stupid. So today we're going to put you on as stupid ADD, stupid ADHD, stupid autism guy, any other mental illnesses or whatever you'd like to throw in. I don't even know if they're mental illnesses.
The anal retentive autism.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't actually exist. That's my own
I have the oral fixation. You have, wow, we just probably shouldn't even go down that road. This is Motherhood Talk Radio. But you and I both have been accused of I personally have been accused of being ADHD, ADD, all that thing. I mean,
right.
You too.
Of course. I usually self-diagnose by you. That's where it's coming from. No, I usually self-diagnose myself. I just tell everyone else, out of the gate, yeah, I got this problem. Whether or not it's true is irrelevant, but they leave you alone.
I would say so.
But I was looking at, there's a psychcentral.com. And it has
Psychocentral?
No, Psych. Psychocentral, that's probably a different site. No, but it has a test for ADHD, and I was reading through some of these questions, and most of them I couldn't answer yes to. Like, for example, when you're at homework or school, I find my mind wandering from tasks that are uninteresting or difficult, and it goes not at all to very much.
So what do you do?
I don't know. My mind doesn't really wander. I'm very boring that way.
Do you even think? I mean, is there a thought going through your head even at this point?
When I'm thinking, I'm thinking. When I'm done thinking, I'm done. So whatever that is.
Wow.
I'm black and white.
You are black and white.
Keep thinking.
I do. I'm like the hamster wheel of thinking. I can think all night long, and I can actually think myself into a frenzy.
Okay, how about another question? Do you have a quick temper or a short fuse?
You don't. I've been so mean to you sometimes, and you're still nice to me, and you don't get mad at me.
Really? So you're accusing me of ADD, and you're being mean to me. You get another complex.
Well, but I don't think I have a short fuse, do you?
No, I don't think so. What about, how about this one? Here's an interesting one. When you're in a group situation, I find it hard to stay focused on what is being said in the conversation.
Yeah, because usually most people bore me.
Okay. I think that's a good raise other issues. How about this? Here's a question. My moods have highs and lows. That's called being human.
Yeah.
Unless it's extreme, I think.
No, and I don't think you're extreme. I don't think I'm extreme. I was extreme 2 weeks ago, but I'm not extreme anymore. I'm back to being normal Sandroid.
Right. What about trouble planning in what order to do a series of tasks?
Okay, that I have sometimes because I have so many tasks to thing, and then I tend to do my fingernails instead.
Okay, I am always on the go.
Yes, you're always on the go until you crash.
I totally crash.
Seriously, you crash. You go into
always
the man
been
cave.
That way, and then when I sleep, nothing wakes me up.
No, I will attest to that. I could stick you with pins. Well, no, I won't even say that. Nope. Okay. Don't even know that. Not going there. All good. Next question.
Hey, how about this one? In a conversation, you start answering questions before the questions have been fully asked.
I think we both do that, especially when we get in that Spritel and Chim Chim mode where we talk really fast, or we're on IM and it's going back and forth,
right.
and it becomes some weird merged human brain that's one and not two, and it's creepy and disturbing.
What about this one? This one sounds like a different issue. It says there's a lot of static or chatter in my head. I think that's called schizophrenia, but
no, I think that's me in your ear going, Rick, you're crazy. Rick, you're crazy.
Yeah. How about, let me see, which one? My mind gets so cluttered that it is hard for it to function. So I can't say yes to that because it never has that much going on in it.
See, and mine has lots going on, but I still function. I still seem to function.
Okay, what do you think about this last one I have for you?
Okay.
My thoughts bounce around as if my mind is in a pinball machine.
He's a pinball wizard. Sorry.
My point exactly. Fail.
Epic fail.
I'm unable to stop daydreaming.
Do you even daydream? I don't even think you dream. No, you don't dream. Yeah, you're like the weird creeper sleeper.
So I just, creeper sleeper. So I failed the ADHD test. I must have some other problem.
Yeah, I would attest to that. I would fully support that you have some other problem other than ADHD. But, you know, that's why we're bringing on this guest, Nikki, so she can clarify all these things.
I think people make it a much bigger issue sometimes, and I think there's not a false diagnosis, but I think...
Well, you're not a doctor, so why are you diagnosing yourself anyway?
Well, that's part of the fun, but I'm saying I've had cousins and friends with kids that the doctor's so quick to put them on Ritalin and give them this therapy and give them this and that. I'm just like, first of all, the kid is a boy. Number two, boys run, jump, throw rocks, make noise, yell, fight. That's what boys do. That's
right, and you still do that.
I still have a ton of energy. I have the energy of a teenager sometimes. You know,
that's true.
That's why I go to the gym for several hours. That's why I run around. And you have to get it out. You need to channel your energy. Because if you leave, especially boys, you leave them alone with a lot of energy, they're going to get in trouble.
That's true.
It's
that's
not
true.
directed.
I think that's. I would say
so
that's
don't
just
drug them. Take them to the freaking playground. That's my theory. But I'm not a doctor, so
you're not a doctor. But I know if I don't take you to the playground regularly, you're just very, very difficult
I have 4
to work
younger
with.
brothers, so I mean, I've interacted with a lot of boys.
That's true, and you ooze testosterone, so knowing that, you're probably the poster, Yeah, you're oozing a lot of things over there.
Dorothy's like, oh, my gosh.
But I'm glad, like, you know, because there is a lot of misconceptions out there. I mean, people have accused me of having a lot of mental things and, you know, disorders and otherwise. So I think it's good that we bring on Nicky VanValkenburgh, which I just love that name. I have to say that, VanValkenburgh.
That's another issue right there. Do you have a weird fixation with names?
I do. Richard D. Swanson. Yeah, doesn't it sound like a senator? I know, it's awful. Yeah. So should we bring on our guest?
Probably before she leaves. Right away. Who is this clown?
She's probably like, I'm never going to be on this show again. You guys brutalized my topic. You made fun of it, and you accused each other of having it. So, but that's pretty much status quo.
We accuse each other of a lot of things.
I know. Bad habits. All right, so I'm going to kick you off. Say goodbye, Richard D. Swanson.
Goodbye, Richard D. Swanson.
Okay. Oh, Doris, this is why we're not on the air every week. It just gets worse. But we're going to show pictures of ourselves soon after our Fit to Strip challenge. We just have to go get our photos done and photoshopped. So we have Nicky VanValkenburgh. Nicky, are you on the line today?
Yes. Hi, Sandra and Doris. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hi. Sorry, I love your name.
Oh, that's okay.
I would buy your book just because of your name. It's kind of like Valkyrie. Oh, that movie. Yeah, it wasn't a very good movie, but she's got a great name. So, all right, clear up the myth. Rick and I are a little crazy. I get that, but you know, Rick says he's just insane. I'm crazy. What is ADHD? And do we have it?
I've written a book, and it's called Train Your Brain, Transform Your Life, Conquer ADHD in 60 Days Without Ritalin. And it's attention deficit disorder with or without hyperactivity, and it's called ADHD. Most people take prescription meds like Ritalin or Adderall, but there's another way to tackle ADHD without drugs, and that's brain training. And my book describes a method of brain training that's currently used in clinics across the country. It's very popular. It's clinically tested and very effective. And now you can do it in the comfort of your own home. You can train your brain to conquer ADHD at home, which saves you time, energy, and money.
Well, yeah, and it's like really good for people who are uninsured, people who can't afford these exorbitant medical prices, and for people who just want to kind of avoid, you know, taking meds unless they have to. I think it's a good thing.
Right.
It's worth a shot. What can you lose?
Homeschooling. Yeah, homeschool children and just so many things. It's for adults, too. It's for children and adults. And if you live in Canada, you can walk into any doctor's office in Canada, tell them you have ADHD, and you can get this brain training program covered by your insurance by law. It's part of the Health Canada initiative.
That is so cool. And I love, we always bring on alternative therapies. We bring on alternative treatments. Even on my sister show, Military Mom Talk Radio, I have to put a shameless plug in here somewhere, which airs Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do, we had Fuzzy Manning on, who talked about post-traumatic stress. I mean, it's really important that we explore all different alternatives in the treatment of our issues and our illnesses because, the mind-body connection is just really important.
Right, and the machine and the system can be used for post-traumatic stress as well. I had a customer just this week called me, and he's a military veteran. He's been a civilian now for 30 years, but he's been struggling with night terrors. He wakes up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, often sitting up straight in bed and screaming. Well, he wasn't sleeping well. His wife wasn't sleeping well, but they got my brain training program, been using it every day faithfully. It just takes 22 minutes a day. And after 30 days, he said, I'm still having the night terrors, but it's less. It's like once every 3 days. And then it got to be once every 5 days. Then it got to be once every week. Well, by the end of the 60-day program, he said, this is amazing. I don't have night terrors anymore. And now it's
I hate to cut you off. Vicki or Nick, sorry, I hate to cut you off. We got to go to commercial break. Our guest today is Nicky VanValkenburgh. She will be back after the break. We're going to talk about ADHD and some other treatments that are available for not only this, but also can be used for PTSD, depending on who's listening. We'll be back after the break.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. The Multi-Ethnic Church with Mark DeMoss, Thursday afternoons at 1 noon Central, is a show that passionately addresses the question, if the kingdom of heaven is not segregated, then why on earth is your local church?
They call us
Yes, increasingly, our diverse population and the diverse families it's producing is reshaping the face of the local church as people are beginning to recognize the power and beauty of walking, working, and worshiping God together with others of different backgrounds. How can your church overcome the obstacles, and why should you even try? Join a live chat with guests from around the country and the world to learn the effectiveness of churches in the 21st century beyond race and class distinction. This show has its pulse on what it will take for the church to find real reconciliation in our generation. So tune in for the Multi-Ethnic Church with Mark DeMoss, Thursday afternoons at 1, noon Central, here on TogiNet.com. Girlfriended is on TogiNet. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, with your hosts Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. This show is your chance to share, learn, laugh, and connect with other women. The Girlfriended principle was born out of loss.
Lisa had recently had her mother pass away from cancer, and my mom was murdered. A man just walking into a room and started a 23-second shooting spree.
I think one of the things we both realized going through those tragedies that you can be extremely okay and be extremely sad.
Check out Girlfriended.com. And then be a part of Girlfriended, the radio show. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.
You know, your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, they don't totally understand that emotional side to them like another woman does. And I think that's so important just to have somebody that you go, she gets me.
Check out the website, Girlfriended.com. Don't miss Girlfriended with Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here today with Doris Rivas-Brecky. And for those of you just joining us, Christy Holly, who has the most perfect life, including fairy lights at her wedding and being the Uber mom, has chosen to not be on the show today so she could be there for her children coming out of their first day of school. I, however, am not. I'm going to meet them after for ice cream, so it's all good. But I just, Doris, I always have to take a pot shot at Christy because she's so much fun.
Yeah, but she knows that you're a good mom, too, so.
Yeah, we're just different. I think that's the one
exactly.
thing, that Motherhood Talk Radio has tried to embrace is that there are working moms, there are stay-at-home working moms, there's, moms who work raising their families, there's moms who work outside of the home and give off some of the caregiving to schools and to other caregivers. There's really no one right way to raise a family, and it took me probably 8 years to learn that as a single mom, but we do the best we can as moms, and we want to honor all the mothers out there in the choices that they make. And one of the choices that we've found that some moms make is the choice to seek alternative therapies as opposed to going the traditional medication route. And we're not advocating any route today. We're simply giving you the awareness that there are other opportunities out there for ADHD. And I can't even remember. Did we even go over what ADHD was, Nikki? Oh, I think we've lost Nikki, so we're going to talk amongst ourselves. Doris, I think it's time for coffee talk.
Okay.
I do see a lot of parents struggling. Not only do I have friends with kids with autism, kids with ADHD, it's got to be a very difficult decision to what to do for your kids. I know when my son Max had a bleeding disorder when he was 2 years old, and he had something like, 200 nosebleeds in a year, and everybody kept telling me, oh, he'll grow out of it, you live in the high desert. It was really upsetting, and I'd love to tell this story because, I go into the doctor's office, with my day planner. I'm a little anal retentive, like Rick in that way, and I put a little B with a circle around it every day. He had a nosebleed, and I'm like, look, we're at like nosebleed 167, and by nosebleed over 200, I went into this one ear, nose, and throat surgeon, and he looked at me and he's like, yeah, you're a first-time mom, you're, a little bit high-strung, you got a lot going on, and I said, really, honestly, doctor, I'm not crazy. My son's got something wrong with it, and that's just. It's not. Oh, for crying out loud! We've got the radio station calling my home line, so we need to not do that while we're on the air. We need to get Nikki back. When my son went into the doctor's, Doris, he said, okay, I'm going to spray this stuff in his nose and we'll see what happens, because we had been arguing, because at this point I'm all mad. I'm like, look, I'm not some psycho mom coming in here. There's something wrong with my kid. You need to help me fix it.
Yeah.
And he fired back at me, well, I've been doing this 15 years and, I know better. And I'm like, good, you went to medical school, but I've watched this kid bleed for 2 years. That was kind of the discussion the doctor and I were having. Wow. And, it was, I wasn't on my friendly watch.
No, I would not have either.
And so he does. He sticks this thing in my kid's nose, and I said, you might want to put on a coat, a jacket, something. I said, that's a really nice tie-in shirt. And he's like, yeah, I'll be fine. Oh, my God, my kid shot blood all over him. It looked like somebody dumped a bucket of blood on him. It was in his hair. It was all over his face. It killed his tie, killed his shirt. And, and I hate to, say, like, I was really happy my kid bled all over him. But, like, every time, my kid's heart pumped, it shot more blood out of his nose. And he was like, oh, my God, and jumped back and covered with blood. And I was just like, victory is mine. And, 2 days later, my kid had corrective surgery, and we had no more life-threatening nosebleeds. But,
wow.
My advice to mothers out there, especially if your kid has something that you think he has, let your maternal instincts come forward. Fight for what you need with your insurance company. Don't let anybody tell you that your kid doesn't have something because they have a medical degree. You know, my instinct said this is wrong, that this kid is soaking his pillowcase with blood every night. And I had to fight probably 5 or 6 doctors and my insurance company until finally they corrected it. And I don't have a medical degree, but I can tell when something's wrong with my kid, and so can you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So do we have Nikki back?
I'm right here. Hello.
There you are. Sorry,
Yeah.
our blood and gore and guts, retreat while you were gone. So, ADHD. Tell me about it.
Well, I can give 10 warning signs of ADHD.
That would be a good start.
These are things like poor concentration, distraction, disorganization, restlessness, a craving for stimulation. A lot of people don't realize that they're thrill seekers or adrenaline junkies and looking for a little bit of an extra push to focus. And we crave stimulation, and there's nothing like a little bit of excitement to stir things up. And there's a lot of people who are addicted to coffee, soda, or energy drinks. Whatever it takes, you need a boost to get yourself up and ready for action. And that's a craving for stimulation. That's one of the signs of ADHD. And then there's low arousal. If you feel bored or apathetic, kind of sluggish, you have trouble starting projects, switching between activities, or finishing your work. And another sign of ADHD is impulsiveness, poor short-term memory, and things like dissatisfaction and frustration, being emotionally wounded. Like you feel like giving up because ADHD is draining and overwhelming, and sometimes you may even hate yourself and wonder if things are ever going to get better. So those are some signs of ADHD.
Well, so does ADHD always and forever, or does it happen cause some of the things you described to me, were like, wow, that sounds like me,
me too.
in a lot of respects, especially, and Rick too, I was like, wow, when you're like, craves energy drinks, I'm like, oh my God, you should see him with his stimulants and sweating all over the place, but yeah, he's like, oh, I love stimulants, they calm him down. How do you know if you have these things? Do you have to go to a doctor, or, do you just buy your book and work on your own brain?
Well, the doctors do have little tests that they can do. Usually the test is done by a psychologist, and he has a battery of tests and things on the computer that he does, like the Connors test. But the problem with all of that is that it's very subjective. So if you say, well, I have trouble paying attention, I have trouble staying on task, I'm restless, my mind wanders, then they'll say, well, you probably have ADHD. There's no blood test for ADHD. There's no urine test, something scientific like that. It's just a list of symptoms. Yeah.
So you can't. Can you have it during parts of your life and then have it not during parts of your life, or is it something you're born with?
Yeah, it definitely, like stress and being overwhelmed, even post-traumatic stress, that can cause some ADHD symptoms. But what we see is the cure for this is actually stimulating and arousing the brain. And I have a 60-day brain training program for this. It's a 22-minute sessions. How it works, it comes with some special glasses, eyeglasses, headphones, and a little control box with pre-programmed sessions. So you put on the headphones, the eyeglasses, you lay back on your bed, you cover up with a blanket, and you turn on the control box. And you might do the first session, and you just close your eyes and relax. And what you're seeing and hearing is the rhythm of peak performance. It's the rhythm of a person who's optimally listening, focusing, tuning out distractions, getting organized and getting things done. It's that person that we all want to be. And by hearing this rhythm, you're actually practicing it. And so you practice it every day for a period of 60 days. And it's like they say, practice makes perfect and repetition creates mastery. So after 60 days, you master it, and then it becomes, that rhythm of peak performance becomes the autopilot, and then your ADHD symptoms fade away.
So that's kind of like hypnosis, isn't it?
It's not hypnosis. It's brain training. There's no one speaking in the program. It's mild flashing lights and heartbeat sounds. And this was discovered actually by a neuroscientist, Dr. Barry Sturman at UCLA in California, and he found this working with stray cats in his lab. It sounds kind of far out, but he had stray cats, and he developed sound waves to work with these feral cats that were born in the wild that shun human contact. And when he exposed them to these sound waves, they became very quiet. They allowed themselves to be petted and touched, and they also ignored the distraction of food and water. They just became very still, and he called it the sensory motor rhythm because it affected the sensory motor part of the brain. And this later became a protocol for ADHD, and actually it was tested on people, and it was also used for epileptics and training with epileptics, helping epileptics retrain their brains so that they could no longer be epileptic.
Wow, that is so amazing. I need to take a commercial break.
Story.
Yeah, I need to take a commercial break. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with today's co-host, Doris Rivas-Brecky, who's filling in for Christina Holly. I want to thank Rick Swanson for coming on and adding his usual dose of silliness to the show. And I want you guys to check us out on iTunes. We are available on iTunes Germany, France. We're iTunes America. Check us out on motherhoodtalkradio.com and check out our sister show, militarymomtalkradio.com, because we got a lot of cool things on there too.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. This is a no-brainer. This is about saving money. It's extreme couponing in an everyday world. And it's on TogiNet, Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern, noon Central, with your hosts, Joni Deemer and Heather Wheeler. These crazy coupon ladies have been seen on TLC, The Today Show, Reader's Digest, In Touch, and so much more. Check out their website, The Crazy, spelled with a K, couponlady.com. Then join Heather Wheeler and Joni Deemer as these crazy coupon ladies show you how to find coupons and stack them for huge savings. How to make passers-by gape at your cart full of groceries you purchased for 75% off retail. Extreme couponing will give you the confidence to strut down the aisles and flaunt your coupons, and maybe even wear high heels to the grocery store. It's extreme couponing in an everyday world with your hosts, Joni Deemer and Heather Wheeler. Every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern and 12 noon Central on TogiNet.com. Get ready for the Not-So-Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not-So-Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered. In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not-So-Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I have Doris Rivas-Brecky here today, filling in for Miss Christina Robbins-Holly, who's out being the Uber mom. I'm going to leave, though, a few minutes early from today's show so I can try to keep up with Christy. And we're going to bring on Robin Boyd, who is my co-host of Military Mom Talk Radio, and she's been listening in on today's show. Robin, I think Rick has ADHD, ADD, autism, and I'm thinking sociopathic personality disorder. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure that we can find a syndrome for any unique behavior, or we could just say people are special and they are wonderful just for the way they are and who they are, and that's what you look at is the beauty. It's an ability. It's not a disability. It's an ability. Can you tell I was a special ed teacher once?
Oh my God, Robin! Yeah, I'm like, geez, take the wind out of picking on Rick. It's I haven't been able to pick on him for weeks now.
I can't pick on Rick.
Well, I can, no. And I think we've agreed too that we have the Beck Swanson disorder, the BS disorder.
Yeah. But that's what makes everybody wonderful and beautiful, and that's why everyone loves you, because you aren't, believe me, I have a daughter who is the most unique child in the world, and I wouldn't have her any other way because that's what makes her beautiful. So, but it's true. Nikki, you've had so many interesting things to talk about, and I think, especially in this day and age, it's true. You have so many syndromes that everyone gets caught up in. Okay, what syndrome is this, or what's the label on this? And sometimes we really don't. We need to back up and not put a label on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my book's for people that are really looking for answers. I mean, y'all are joking around a lot, but it does offer some real solutions for people that are absolutely desperate for help, that don't want to take medicine, they don't want to take Ritalin, Adderall, and these type of drugs, and they have a serious problem. I've had parents come to me, their kids on the verge of getting kicked out of school. They're having problems. The parents are getting divorced. In cases like that, you really need to take action. And please check out my website, www.trainyourbraintransformyourlife.com.
Is it transfer or transform your life?
Transform. Train your brain, transform your life.
Your life. Yeah. Okay. Just to make sure that we have it correct. I know just what you're saying, Nikki, in that there are some times, and like Sandra was saying earlier, that you need to address this. You need to do something. And there are times that you are just at your wit's end. And I'm thinking that you are giving so many families just the ability to move forward with some hope and some positive outcomes, which sounds just what people are needing. Do you find, I'm sorry, Sandra, I didn't mean to just kind of jump right in here and ask all these questions, but I'm sitting on the edge of my seat as I was listening, and I had so many things to ask. Nikki, do you find...
That's okay. I have, I'm off in my own little world. I have a low sex drive. I'm not really paying attention. It's hard to function. I'm just going to sit over here in my own little ADHD bubble.
Do you find, Nikki, that a lot of people are ADHD right from childhood, or are you finding that people may have had, I don't want to call it standard or normal, but less effects of ADHD as children, and then all of a sudden are finding difficulties in their adulthood?
Well, even intelligent people can have ADHD. Albert Einstein had ADHD. He was doodling in his notebook all the time. He refused to do his assignments. When he was going to school, the name Einstein was not synonymous with intelligence. It was a sign of a person who was rebellious, refusing to do their assignments, a dreamer. But he found a way to actually train his brain and turn on his brain power. He didn't have the program that I have, of course, but he did little exercises, and we can do this. We can whenever we memorize things, we're actually turning on our brain power. When we do something new for the first time, like learning a foreign language or doing crossword puzzles, or maybe going to a group fitness class at the gym, these are all things that actually create dopamine and serotonin in the brain and actually enable us to be smarter and help our brain to grow and develop. So these are all great things for the brain.
Now, in your book, I understand you have 5 brain boosters. Is that correct? Specific
yes,
brain
I do.
boosters?
Yeah.
And is this something that people would do as you say, as exercises? Because if we're exercising physically with our body, are these exercises that people would do day in and day out?
Well, it's what I have is a 60-day program, and actually it's not exercises in the sense of doing math problems or crossword puzzles, but it's actually just laying back on your bed, putting on the headset and eyeglasses, and turning on the control box. It's been described as the lazy way to get rid of ADHD. It's an easy and effortless way, but it's doing so many things. It's stimulating and arousing the brain. It's increasing oxygen and blood flow to the brain. It's fine-tuning your brain waves. With hyperactivity, your brain may be going too fast, or it may be sluggish. It may be too slow. But the machine and the system helps your brain waves get up to speed and correct that imbalance so that your brain waves are within a normal range. And it teaches you the rhythm of peak performance. Like I said, ADHD is like being rhythmically challenged. You're out of step with that rhythm of focusing, concentrating, remembering, and the machine enables you to get in touch with that rhythm of peak performance. And it stimulates and arouses and exercises your brain. You see, researchers say that people with ADHD have low arousal or sleepy brains, and that's why it's pure torture to listen to a boring lecture or to wait in line, because these boring activities, they don't stimulate and challenge or arouse the brain.
I see.
So that's the trick, is doing things that turn on your brain power. And in my book, I list 7 things that turn on your brain power.
Wow, yeah. Well, I guess the reason why I was sort of getting at the daily exercise concept was the fact that if your program would take 60 days to implement, if in fact that after that 60 days, do you have practices that one would follow? Similar to one doing dietary changes. We go on a diet and we just don't do it for X amount of days. We do it. It's sort of a dietary change in our lifestyle.
Good question, Robin. Good question.
And I would almost wonder if, in fact, that's what we're doing here is beginning in the first 60 days, but then changing our life.
Right. Well, people ask me all the time, if I do this program, will my ADHD disappear forever and never come back? And it's not really a fair question, because even medicine can't make that claim. But what I can tell you is that it makes permanent and lasting changes in your brain. And it's like they say, your gains will be sustained. And it's like kind of like walking in the woods, and you're putting your feet on top of these weeds and the brush and all the dirt on the ground, and you're trotting on that path. And by using this program, you're actually making a new path in your brain. And then by 60 days, it conditions and tones, and so that you're paving that pathway, and then it becomes an autopilot that your brain chooses to go that rhythm of peak performance pathway instead of the ADHD pathway. And those changes are yours to keep, but what can cause you to regress or like to relapse, to have a bad ADHD day, would be like crisis or trauma, like having a car accident, a fight with your spouse, 9/11. All of those things, that can cause you to regress and have a bad ADHD day, and all of a sudden all those symptoms come tumbling back. But we don't have to run to the medicine cabinet. What you can do is just get out the brain training machine and use it again to get back on track.
Reestablish
so I see it's like it's like a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool in your arsenal to help you. See, we all have like prayer, the support of our family and friends, and maybe we say affirmations, we eat healthy, and those are all tools. So this program could be a tool in your arsenal to help you to get on track and to be the best person you can be.
That sounds great. Nicky, we are at the end of the hour. Nicky VanValkenburgh, this has been so informative and so helpful. Thank you for your time. We want to remind everybody to go to the website, trainyourbraintransformyourlife.com, and download a segment of the book there or order the book, as well as you have a number of other resources there for people to check out. Thanks again so much for coming on.
Thanks so much, Sandra and Doris. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Next week we have Sandra and Christy coming on to say hello to a past guest, so be sure to check out that, as well as our podcasts on iTunes. We have lots of stuff on motherhoodtalkradio.com, and find us on Facebook at Motherhood Incorporated. One of the beauties, I have to say, of our computer era is the ability to reach out and send a virtual hug, especially when we can't be there virtually,
we are closing the show
physically.
A little differently today, as we at Motherhood Talk Radio would like to express our condolences to Sandra Beck and her family. Sandra's mother passed away this week, and we'd like to take a moment to honor her memory. Always maintaining her love, courage, and sense of humor throughout the duration of her illness, Gloria Beck will be remembered for her strong, gracious, and dignified spirit, which she maintained through unwavering strength and faith until her passing. She will be warmly remembered for her love of family, delicious food, world travel, beautiful flowers, and good books. She was an excellent cook, a great conversationalist, and an attentive listener, highly articulate, and extremely well-read. She possessed impeccable taste in clothing, home furnishings, and fine crystal, and had a deep appreciation for music, art, and culture. She truly gave selflessly for the welfare and benefit of her family, always making sure that her children had every opportunity life could provide. She was a loving and generous grandmother who doted on her grandchildren, always ready to spoil them with lots of love, sweet treats, and big hugs. Gloria was a deeply sensitive and compassionate wife, mother, friend, and community member. She will be deeply missed. Her memory will be carried forth with the deepest honor and respect for the life she lived and legacy she left behind. Some thoughts that have always meant something to me, and I'm hoping will mean something to Sandra. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she's lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all she's left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she's gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what she'd want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. From all of us at Motherhood Incorporated, we send the Beck family our love, our prayers, and peace.
It's time to capture the simple piece of the Amish in your own life. Amish Wisdom.